Welcome back to the Iron Sights podcast. We are coming in on International Firefighters Day here, and I brought in a really special dude, Mr. Pranay Manghirmalani.
Boom, nailed it.
What's up?
Nailed it. What's up, buddy?
It's good to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So otherwise known as Smokey Bear.
Smokey the Bear, yep.
Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear.
He's been kind enough to do a 6-hour trek down from actually Oregon.
That's right.
So you're not local, but you do work local, and we're going to talk about that.
Yep.
And today, I wanted to have you in here for a few reasons. You know, we have it's an interesting world we live in. There are some very few, there's like these very few degrees of separation, and it seems like we're connected by maybe 1 degree in
small world, dude.
So many ways, which is cool. So there's some community there. But today I want to talk about firefighting.
Yeah, man.
I want to talk about fitness. I want to talk about specifically physical fitness, mental and emotional fitness, and specifically how that relates to what you do as a professional.
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
of the things you've learned, and as it relates to your past, because you do have a military background, then moving from one type of service into the other with CAL FIRE, which I have lots of questions about.
Yeah, shoot away.
And I'd love to be educated and educate people on the agency, but specifically kind of what you guys are doing and how you prep and stuff. So, man, there's a lot on the table today.
All yours, brother.
Yeah. So let's kick this off. So first off, like I said, thanks again for making the drive.
No, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. You came bearing gifts, which is even better.
Always.
I'm a bourbon and cigar guy.
Oh, there you go. Always.
And you came bearing those, so I already know this is going to be awesome. So maybe give me some insight as to kind of where'd you grow up? Like, who were you as a kid? Like, again, there was some military service, there's the fire service, there's a lot of things there. Let's go back.
Yeah, man.
I'll let you start wherever you want and tell me some things that might surprise me, and you can say some boring stuff in there too.
Yeah, no worries, man. Shoot away. Feel free to interrupt me. Yeah, so I appreciate it again, Pranay. Where I start, parents came from India.
Okay.
Grew up in the East Bay here, not too far away from where we're sitting. So they came over here, 2 younger brothers, did the high school, everything like that. So grew up in the East Bay. Shoot, man, I definitely had opportunities to go down the wrong path. I think a lot of us, especially in the Bay Area, outside influences and neighborhoods that aren't, as appetizing as others. And I started off with Boy Scouts, man.
Me too.
Like, man, dude. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, I went up, that whole Eagle Scout, all that. All 3 of my brothers, 3 of us, all Eagle Scouts. That's something I still hold to our hearts. So it's a big thing for me. And through that, I always wanted to be a fireman.
The whole Boy Scout thing doesn't get talked about much because it isn't looked on very kindly in the last several years.
It kind of went, there's some issues.
There's a lot of things going on there, but I have to tell you, it had major impact on me as a young man.
100%.
First off, there was just a lot of lessons learned, a lot of practical lessons you could learn from doing the things that we did. I mean, I was really fortunate. I had a troop and leaders within that troop that were very, very much about, we got to get these kids outside and into the wilderness minimum 1 time a month. So at least once a month we would go out we'd leave on a Friday afternoon after school, and we'd come back late on a Sunday. And it was like 72 plus hours of just like, go outside.
Dude, it was a blast.
Yeah. So you just learn stuff. You learn how to not have your mom around, right?
100%.
You learn how to fall down and have to get yourself back up. Like, like your shit's all soaking wet from the rain. What do you do now?
Oh, exactly. And that's like, I didn't grow up with, a real big father figure. So it was like, no way how I grew up. If I didn't have those skills, I wouldn't be at where I'm at right now. But I mean, like your people skills, like talking about chicks, shit like that. It was like
staying up late, talking about stuff that kids should be talking about instead of in a video game.
I found a dirty magazine the other day. What is this? Oh, shit, about a Playboy to the camping trip.
That's all part of growing up.
100%.
It's all part of growing up.
Yeah. It was a blast traveling around California. So I was a good part, big outdoor guy, but it was a blessing for sure to see like, I would have never done this, and I was fortunate enough that I got to pay for it and whatever, but trips all in New Mexico, backpacking.
I did the same. You're talking about Philmont?
Philmont, man.
Oh, man. We did 2 weeks out there.
Bringing it back, dude.
It was an awesome time.
It was. Yeah. Cimarron, dude.
Yes.
Cimarron, New Mexico. I remember that.
For anybody that's done that's listening right now, they know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, it was a huge, I don't want to say it's a life-changing event, but it was certainly a very impactful event. Just the whole thing, the prep, having to go out there. There's always for those who haven't been or maybe haven't been on one of these trips, there's always the Boy Scouts doesn't run without help from the parents.
No, yeah.
There has to be solid parental or adult support for this thing, and there's always a couple of dads that probably shouldn't be there but want to be. and
chill out.
So you and for multiple reasons, like you're gonna go out and you're going to backpack for 2 weeks and you're going to go through the mountains. There's going to be weather and there's going to be adversity.
Oh yeah.
All this stuff. If you're not fit and ready for this shit, like it can.
No, I look back now, like at work stuff, which we'll get to, but I was like, yeah, there were some times back then I was like 16, 17 years old, getting my ass handed to me.
Yeah, totally.
Going up that fucking hell.
Right.
Damn.
Again, life lessons.
Right.
Life lessons. And so you mentioned, sorry, just kind of getting on the Boy Scout thing, but having this, there were times where you could have chosen another path. You want to expand on that a little bit?
Oh, I mean, I didn't grow up, too far away from Oakland.
Okay.
Richmond, all these Bay Area cities, and I'm sure if you're listening to these, San Francisco, obviously, San Jose, things like that. So I definitely had some friends, in low places like we all do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely dabbled in going down that wrong path. But luckily for my mom, 100% credit to my mom and grandmother, since she raised me, got me into that Boy Scout program. And I mean, I've still talked to a lot of my good friends from there.
Oh, is that right?
I think, I credit everything, but second to God, family, the Boy Scouts for sure, who shaped me as a man who I am right now. Just because, like you said, those groundbreaking, the foundational material that I got of, even just the fire stuff, but like people skills, the big thing. How to apply for jobs, how to wear a uniform, like yes sir, no sir, like how to shave, not look like a dirtbag, I see people now, it's everything's from childhood trauma, everything like that. So I can't necessarily blame that individual for the way that they were raised, but I definitely could be fortunate and be like, no, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe, so. Yeah,
there are outlets, and at the time for me, it was certainly Boy Scouts, and then there was sports, and for different people, there's different things. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I certainly had quote unquote friends that I could have hung out with more.
Absolutely.
That didn't wind up in such great situations, and that would have put me there. So I think I get it. Yeah. But again, having the basic skills to be able to make a solid decision about doing something or not doing something, and then going home at the end of the day and feeling good about it, and being kept busy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, every weekend. I felt like it was like high school, and I was like, some scout trip to Mount Diablo, or Mission Peak.
Something's happening.
We're going to Big Sur, some Yosemite.
One of the things that was big for me during that time, and I credit hugely to the Scouts, was the leadership lessons, because you learn, as you come up, there's kind of ranks within the Scouts. You have you have your patrol leaders, and then there's people that are in charge of that. Going all the way down to the Cub Scouts, they have these little things, but you learn about good leadership. You learn about poor leadership. You might have the opportunity, and that's one of the things this provides you, to be in a leadership position and make some mistakes, right? Exactly. But also be rewarded for doing a good job. There's so much of that I think is lacking now, for our kids. So
it is, and I see that, in my profession now, quality of people we're hiring. There's some issues. But you can't be that person who always just blames, you got to eventually fix it.
You have to try to be part of the solution.
This is our society right now, that the iPhone, Snapchat, Twitter, bait, whatever, Instagram that we're all on, but it's there. So we got to use it as a tool. So it's not so much now that we have to, I grew up with hard asses in the fire service and law enforcement and military, the guys that were really like beating you down, things like that, which is fine to a point. And now it's like, you can't do that to the next generation of new and upcoming firemen coming in there. You just can't. You just got to, change your leadership styles a little bit differently to capture it. Because you do that, they're done, they'll quit.
I tried that, in the fitness business for a while, and I recognized it just ain't going to work.
No, and you don't want to lose them, because they could be some quality firemen out there. Right. However, you just need to capture them and lead them in a different way.
You have to adapt.
Use technology to your advantage,
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tweet you from the bathroom or something. Get on the fire engine. We're going to get a call. I'll tweet you, Fuck.
Yeah. So the Scouts is like a pathway, right? And it gives you a certain period of your life. And those are very formidable years, to do some things, get some experiences or whatever, but eventually it ends and you're not doing it forever. So what happens as a young man? What do you do next?
Yeah. After that, what is it? When we're 18, so I kind of wanted to give back to that. Concurrently at the same time, I got into like the Explorer program. So I started with the sheriff's office here in the East Bay. did the volunteer search and rescue thing, which is cool. You know, got to go on hikes and, you know, legit search and rescue people throughout the Bay Area and in California, mountain rescue stuff.
Okay.
So got into that a little bit, which kind of honed in the Boy Scout stuff. I wanted to do the firefighting, so I became an explorer firefighter, you know, San Mateo, right across the bay. So I did that for a little bit. And through that whole time, I wanted to be a fireman super bad. So I took these classes, went to a community college here in the East Bay, Las Positas and Livermore out here, did the fire science program. So a lot of good friends from there. One of my best friends still works. I think there's a group of us that are all firemen throughout California.
Cool.
Did that and got hired my first firefighting job right out of high school. So I mean, I worked odd and end jobs, you know, throughout high school, things like that, you know, Target, In-N-Out burgers, and stuff like that. And,
so you got hired on young.
Yeah, 18. Yes.
That's not common.
No, it's not. And I actually graduated high school early because a lot of people were like, hey, where did you go? You weren't at the senior ball. So I actually went to like independent study my second semester of my high school career. So I got a job offer for the National Park Service.
Wow.
As a seasonal wildland firefighter down in Sequoia, Kings Canyon.
Okay. Not a bad place to be.
No, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
I was definitely blessed. But he was, you know, I graduated, what was it? High school, July, something like that, June. Well, the job offer came through in like April, and the captain hard ass, he was like, well, May 1st is your start date. So Captain, I'm still in high school. And he said, I don't give a fuck. Literally, that's what he said, I don't give a fuck. I was like, do you want the job or not? Oh, let me call you back. So I was like, what do I do? How do I graduate high school? So I went to my high school counselor. I was like, I need to drop out or something. You know, I want this job. And she's like, well, you can go to independent study. So I did that. So I went to independent study. Kind of necessarily dropped out, but went to the independent study program and did my homework at home, turned it in for a week. You know, bullshitted my way out of there. I was like, oh, we're done.
Just getting through the last couple months.
Yeah. So I graduated high school in March and then boom, went right into work.
Wow.
Yeah. Or early May.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's almost like a week before I started.
All right. Tell me about that job as a young, barely 18-year-old. I mean, you're a kid still, man.
Yeah. I mean,
How does that all work? Like, talk about that experience. I mean, this is the dream, the quote unquote dream job, right?
Yeah. Or at least a step to it.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate I'm in a dream job now, but dude, so the next oldest guy was like 20, 29, 30.
So there's a lot of years.
There's a lot of years. And like the captain was 40, you know, 30. And I'm like, can legally drink.
Yeah, you can't even relate to these guys, I'm sure.
No, dude, I was like late to work my first shift. I got yelled at. I didn't know what to do. You know, like I knew physical work, but not like that physical work. You know, they detailed me with the hotshot crew. I did that with Arrowhead Hotshots. I did a detail out with them. And I was just like, oh.
It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Dude, it was just shit or get off the pot, man. Yeah. I mean, saw some good fire with a cutting line, and it was just true wildland forestry stuff throughout California. And we went, and it was just, it was tough. It was eye-opening. Excuse me. And
I'm sure it turns you into a man pretty quick.
Yeah, I definitely knew. I definitely found out some things over there, dude. And I was just like, whoa.
Did anybody, was there anybody in that experience to sort of put their arm around you and went, all right, dude, listen, if you're going to survive this thing, if you're going to make it through, like you need to stick on my hip and I will show you what to do. Don't ask me questions. Don't 100%. Be an idiot. Yeah. 100%.
You know, it's funny. So I'm having like my first time I really got fucking hammered, dude. So it's our days off and we're with this captain and I'll definitely leave his name out of it, but we're sitting there, you know, I feel like I got like chest hair and everything when I was like 17. So here I am, right? So I could walk into any bar. So we're at this bar and completely young and I'm getting, we're doing, you know, this Pinnacle vodka, whipped cream vodka, fucking trash, dude. Don't ever fucking. I'm like, oh, this tastes good. And I remember this place is a gorgeous view and there's a river and of course these cute chicks here. So I'm like, oh, you know, let's have shots and stuff. No one knows that I'm 18. So I'm just fucking hammered and he's taking shots too. So it's cool. We're all like hanging out as a crew, a little cohesion and stuff. We work the next day. So I come into work late, right? Here's strike one. And then I get there and, all right, we're going to go on our little PT. But it's weird because all these guys were hammered too. So I'm like, what the hell?
Or at least seemingly.
Right. So this is where I learned, like, you can be friends outside of work, but when you're at work, you know, I'm your boss. So I learned that here. And I was like, what's up, bro? And they're like, good morning. I was like, what the fuck? Like, we were taking shots last night, dude. Gotcha. You know, it was weird.
You hadn't switched off.
No, and I didn't know. I'd never been in this, you know, situation before. I'm so young, just graduated high school. And then I go out and we hike this peak, dude. It's rough. It's like 800-foot elevation gain. And I think it was like just under a mile. So it's pretty steep with our packs. Threw up, dude. I was tits up. Done. I was like, I'm tapped out. So here I am, just like, fuck, whatever. They're pissed. Like they're angry at me. So I get back and get called in the captain's office. He writes me up. They write me up for my first little write-up ever, you know, for like not being prepared at work or unfit for duty. That's what I'm looking for. So he's like, all right, now this is over. I sign it. And I was like, hey, man, if you're going to drink like a man, you better work like a fucking man. And that's what it was. And he was like, I'm here, and I was as hammered as you, but I knew when to shit off. And I was like, but we were drinking together. So you could have left any fucking time last night.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So if you can't handle your liquor, don't drink before work. And it's like, I'm here, the engineer's here, the other firemen's here. We were as hammered as you, or we were all here working. We didn't throw up. So if we got a fire this morning, could you have done your job properly? I was like, no.
There's the reality, right?
Fuck, dude. And I was like, fuck, I'll always remember that. You're going to play with the boys, you know, better work like the boys too. So I was like, all right, well, fuck. You know, life lesson, dude. So it's a big thing for me.
So so this captain, like, this was a lesson. He didn't necessarily put his arm around you, but he was fair but firm with you on on how it was going to be. And if you don't have that, if you don't get that, somebody could have done something there. He could have fired you.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, he could have fired you. Or they also could have all laughed it off, and then you do the same thing again some other time when it really matters.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, how you look at it, like I had a lot of kind of lessons like that in my early, you know, adult career. I just never had that. And I think part of that was that I never really had a dad where I was growing up.
Okay.
Maybe pops could have, you know, put his arm around me. All right, here you go, son, you know? Yeah, you know, it was a good lesson. I'll always remember it.
Yeah. So you go through and now we use the term, and I use this term a lot. Like when you're taking on information, you're learning at just this light speed, you know, pace, which is like you're drinking from a fire hose.
100%.
I got to imagine this first, I mean, how long does this go on for before you feel like you're settling in?
You know, I'd probably say like my second fire season. The first was just, so not only is it learning clocking out uniform, stuff like that. And I had that basis, you know, for the Explorer stuff and, you know, through Boy Scouts, a ranking, right? Patrol leaders and things like the whole.
So you kind of understand the hierarchy.
Exactly. Which is good, but I'm here learning the job too. Fire behavior, weather, topography. And that was just only wildland fire. So it wasn't like added to the other stuff that I do now. But it was a lot, you know, it was like, holy fuck, this fire, you know. And
most people, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, particularly now, most people go through a fire academy before they get hired on as a firefighter, correct?
Correct. Yes, there's different types, I'd say. The federal government, so you have like 5 federal firefighting agencies. The National Park Service, United States Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, United States Fish and Wildlife Service, the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Okay.
So all 4 of those, with the exclusion of the Forest Service, is underneath the USDA, the rest underneath the Department of the Interior.
Okay.
And basically protect federal, like watershed, the land. So not necessarily like structural firefighters, not necessarily EMTs, basic CPR and stuff like that. But they're when you see like the wildland firefighters, beards, hotshots out there cutting line. Mm-hmm. And that's a federal thing. So all 50 states and Puerto Rico as well. So to become qualified for that, it's a class like S130, S1. There's all these different classes that you can take. It's about 80 hours to get qualified as a wildland firefighter.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to go to a true
gotcha.
fire academy.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you want to work for another department.
For some other type of agency, like a city or a county type
or
agency.
CAL FIRE, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's an all risk is what that is. I mean, just going to a, you know, academy, which I later did.
So all risk could be defined as, look, you're handling structure fires, vehicle, traffic accidents.
Exactly.
Any major medical emergencies, as well as wildland fire.
Yeah. You know, Gertrude at 2 a.m, fell out of her bed and can't pick up, you know.
Whatever happens.
That's it.
That's so... What'd you call that again? All
risk.
All risk.
Yeah, it's a big thing. All risk.
Okay.
Everyone says that. You all risk. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're working all risk, you got to go to an academy.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. EMT.
Are all academies created equal?
Ooh. You know, you asked me if I mean, there's academies in the state that are kind of like, so there's a state standard, right? When it's meet the minimum standard.
I know what that means, but that's not what I asked.
Yeah. The state standard. No, you know, I like my academy, but some, there's some I wouldn't go to. 100%. Yeah. Someone like, I see the instructors are teaching in the area, the type of people they push out. And then some on the other extreme that you hear like, oh, I'm from this academy. Like, okay, but you know.
Gotcha. Yeah. So just this week, we had one of our longtime coaches here, Krista, graduate from one of the local academies. Super proud of her. She's been working super hard. She finally came out of that. I think she's headed into medic school.
Yeah, that's pretty common. A lot of people go that route and just go straight into medic school.
I mean, she's been so busy. I haven't seen her hardly at all.
Oh,
she pops in for an hour or two here or there, and then with a client, and then she's gone. She's been going nuts. But yeah.
Oh, it's a bitch. It's one of the best career. I want to say the best in my opinion. I love it. Best job in the world. However, finding a fucking job is a full-time job. Yeah, that's what
that's what I got from the graduation ceremony is how tough and competitive it is.
And that's why it's so nice. The class A's, the bagpipes, because we're finally there. Like every time
when you get there, yeah,
dude, you made it, but that's the start of your career, the Firefighter Academy.
Yeah, you just
now it's like you walk into the firehouse.
Now the learning really begins, which is where we were a minute ago with regard to your journey through this time. So you hadn't been through an academy. You're going through. You're becoming certified as wildland firefighter.
Wildland stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And where does this go?
So after that, did that a few seasons. So wanted to check that out, and then I was taking a bunch of classes, kind of booster up the resume a little bit. So then I went to a fire academy. I went to Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Fire Academy in South Lake, so lived up there a little bit.
Not a bad place to be.
No, gorgeous, man. I worked at another part-time job in Reno at the same time, so I was working up there, 2 different jobs. Still work seasonally, work for the state parks, cleaning up shitters and stuff like that, just to pay the bills. Just to get out.
Stay in the mix, though, too, I'm sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I worked there as the EMT a little bit, so then I went to EMT school, Fire Academy. And then I was like, all right, let me apply again. So now I had the Fire Academy certification. I had the EMT, I had the rescue certifications. I'm going to go work for CAL FIRE.
Okay.
So they had seasonal firefighters they're hiring.
When is this? Give me a timeline.
Oh, I'm looking at 2012, end of 12.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, end of 12, yeah.
All right. So this is 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. And got hired with CAL FIRE. So did the application process. Through that, submitted all my stuff, did an interview, station visit, suit and tie, bringing in ice cream to the guys. This thing shit you got to do.
And you got through it.
Yeah, it was a lot, man. It's actually my buddy and I, he works for another local department in the East Bay right here, one of my best friends. And CAL FIRE's divided up into 21 geographic areas.
Okay.
Based by counties. And he drove Southern California, and I drove Northern California to each of the 21 CAL FIRE headquarters to drop off applications.
Just to to have face.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we came in and resumes and went to Kinko's. We spent like fucking $150, $200 at fucking just or FedEx office, I guess it's called, right, or whatever. But it was making copies like all laminated, card stock, fucking $200. Paying gas. He drove his car at the time. He drove my little Honda at the time. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and did that, so got hired.
So back to CAL FIRE. So you're going with CAL FIRE. What I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, I understand CAL FIRE is the agency itself is massive,
disgustingly big.
It's huge. So big. It's what I think it's the biggest fire agency in the country.
It's second largest.
Okay,
now
to what?
New York, FDNY.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Just the density of population and the stuff that they're dealing with out there. That makes sense. I mean, there's a firehouse in every corner of New York City. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty common. I mean, just like here in San Francisco, right? It's 49 square miles, and they have 51 firehouses, right? Yeah. So every quarter mile there's a firehouse. Yeah, it's so I get that. So anyway, it's a very large state, massive agency, right? Right. I think comparably, like going back to New York, thing, it's the same with the police department. The police department there's massive.
Oh, huge. Yeah, Chicago,
and LA, and then anyhow, in Texas, I think Dallas has a pretty big department too, but I digress. Where I was getting at is this is a huge, huge agency. Yeah. And they work with a lot of other agencies.
We do. Yeah.
So you chose CAL FIRE because you wanted to be all risk?
I did. And actually, back up a little bit. So I had my Eagle Scout, Boy Scout project, right?
Okay.
Was actually with CAL FIRE. So I kind of knew I always wanted to work for CAL FIRE. Yeah. It was out here in the East Bay. I painted 47 fire hydrants.
That was the Eagle project?
Yeah, with CAL FIRE. So it's one of their jurisdictions. Okay. So actually revolving door, I work in that same unit now that I did the Boy Scout project.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So God definitely blessed me. It was
all comes full circle.
Kind of badass. I actually worked at that fire station 2 or 3 watches ago.
Wow.
And it was kind of badass to be like, I was here when I was 14 and a half, 15 years old. But I was wanting to work for CAL FIRE just because it was so massive. So, I mean, CAL FIRE started, what is their patch? 1885, 1881, somewhere around there. actually has like a law enforcement agency, like old park rangers, 30-06 horses and a 7-star badge.
This makes sense to me. Like, it doesn't sound weird at all, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it struck someone. It's like, what? We have law enforcement officers too now, right? A lot of people don't know CAL FIRE actually has. We have a police
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have 100 and XX number of law enforcement officers that are full blown. We have our own police academy.
Really?
Yeah. CAL FIRE police, law enforcement call prevention, fire captain specialist, and battalion chiefs. We have a full law enforcement bureau that enforces arson laws, but they're full police officers. They're like CHP, highway patrol, California Highway Patrol. They're like the local sheriff's office. They're no different. They're out there doing traffic stops, red and blue lights,
Where? Like just in like BLM land and things like that? No, I mean,
not so much BLM land. That's federal. That's federal. And that's like cross-deputized to work.
That's what I would be asking. Like, I mean, I have no idea what federal, agencies, like what they have in terms of manpower to do that. Do they rely on state agencies or whatever?
There's areas that they do. So I guess, going back to, I guess, the CAL FIRE, this probably make a little bit more sense that it started out as, the old like forestry fire wardens out there, and they developed in a big fire department. So there's 3 different types of land property, I should say, in California. It's like 33%. Was it 47% of California is federal property, so-called FRA, Federal Responsibility Area, which is like Point Reyes National Yosemite National Park.
We have some huge national parks here.
Forests.
So I'm not surprised in national forests, some gorgeous areas. So I'm not surprised by that. I think it might surprise a lot of people that there's that much federal land in this state.
The whole state of Jefferson stuff going on and all that. So that's really interesting. But a lot of people don't know it's like 47% of California is owned by Washington, D.C. 47%. So a lot of people are like, oh, wow. It was like, it's damn near half. And then let's see if my math right. I think 33% is California. So state responsibility area. So you have state parks. We have state forests as well.
The shoreline is mostly state parks.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then 20%, is that right? Just go up to 100. 20% is private. So it's the local responsibility area. And that comes into billing and who responds to what for fires. And
Got you.
City of San Francisco, County of Santa Clara, things like that.
Yeah, so we have like kind of these like little fringe communities or areas just on the outskirts of kind of the major city limits. And it's interesting, like, the local PD doesn't respond out there. The Highway Patrol does, or the Sheriff's Office does, or CAL FIRE does. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. And literally you're talking a mile, from like wherever the line is. Oh, there's a line.
There's 100% lines. Yeah. There's a line on our computers and in our fire engines and ladder trucks and everything like that. There's a line. It's called the mutual threat zone. That's a term, the MTZ. So it's literally a line. That's like, nope, the city of San Jose is going to take care of this. That's their call. And we're going in to assist. Or no, this is our area. City of San Jose is going to come in to assist us, which means that we're the ordering point. We're going to deal with finance down the road, when the number crunchers deal with stuff. So that all depends on who orders what, where that call is.
So talk about your just sort of the career path up. So you went through the academy.
I did.
Right?
Yeah.
You come out, and you'd already had a ton of experience.
Yeah, real quick. Right. So I did the season stuff for CAL FIRE. So at that time, now I'm living in Humboldt. Way up in Northern California. Yeah, moved around.
The redwoods.
Yeah, dude, deep Emerald Triangle up there. Excuse me. So dated a girl and I always had an interest in law enforcement. It's kind of cool. And a couple cops and stuff like that. I'm just working seasonally. At the time, there's kind of like a hiring freeze going on. So like permanent year-round positions for CAL FIRE are pretty hard to get. I never wanted to be a paramedic. It was cool being an EMT. I just didn't want to go that far. Still, 80% of our calls are EMS, medical related calls.
How many? What percentage?
80%.
80%. Again, this is CAL FIRE, and I don't think people understand that. I knew it was pretty high. I had no idea it was 80%.
80%. Yeah, and that's the big thing with, we'll get to that too. It's, CAL FIRE is not like, California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. Forestry is in our name. That's where our roots is. But I forget what the percent is. It's over 50% of our calls are municipal. So we're definitely an all risk department, no different than, San Jose City, right. LA City, Chicago City, what we do. But went through post. So I went to a police academy, put myself through a police academy.
Up in Humboldt.
Yeah. Community college up there. So I went through another academy. I should write a book about going to academies here. Fuck. So after that, went through that and became a deputy in Northern California community up there for sheriff's office.
For the sheriffs. Okay.
Yeah. Up there. It was cool. Did that for about a year, but it just wasn't for me. So things came up again, probably some maturity issues, just fully being honest. I was like, I was super young still. Wanted to check it out. It definitely wasn't my path. It was fun. I think I want to do it because it was fun. Love shooting guns, right? Still do. It was cool, but I just wasn't there. You don't want to.
It's not firefighting.
No, it's not running into a burning building, man. Yeah, it was a different type of rush, but it was more just, like so many buddies who are in law enforcement. Was there respect? Nothing against the job itself. It's just me. I just.
Oh no, I hear you.
Yeah, that puzzle piece didn't fit in.
I'm not getting that from you at all. Was there like an incident or like one thing where you just knew you went home at the end of the day, or this was happening at this particular time? You go, nope. Or, no, or did you kind of know right from the beginning once you got on the street and you just held on? Like,
yeah, I kind of held on.
I feel like most people know that. They know internally, like, this doesn't feel right. Something's not right.
Yeah, I mean, there were some guys who I worked with who were cool, and like some guys I wasn't a fan of. It definitely could have been that agency that I worked for.
A little politics.
Yeah, man. And so it's like, I try not to dive too much into it and get sucked into that shit.
Okay, we don't have to, but
no. It's like, in general speaking, it's like no one wants to, you just get sucked into politics and stuff wherever. There's politics in my department right now and everything like that.
It's
and it
hard.
Sucks.
Yeah,
so it's like, who knows what happens? I strong believer things happen for a reason. God put me in different places, to learn those and resiliency to bounce back from it. So I was like, I did it. It was cool. Met some good friends, and I was like, yeah. You know what I'd say it was, dude? I went on a couple calls. I'm really going to this water rescue call, and
explain this. What's this? So what's happening?
So we get a call for a person trapped in the water. There's volunteer fire departments around there, and there's a CAL FIRE station there as well. So we get a call. I remember going driving lights and sirens down this highway, curvy ass highway, and seeing a car flipped over.
So there's a car flipped over
in the water. Yeah.
Like in a lake, in a river.
River.
Okay.
Yeah. So car was flipped out in a river. And I remember going up because you have water rescue training, so they gave me actually a wetsuit, even as a law enforcement officer and stuff to go. And like the firefighting mode kicked in. So the rescue stuff kicked in and the fire department came. I do remember that. And this CAL FIRE engine came screaming up. And
I'm supposed to be on that.
Yeah, dude, and that's what it kind of was. But I knew the compartments, our engines are all set up the same. We have 356, 357 and some change engines. And like, I went straight to the rope bags. That's why I kind of was like, yeah, dude, I love the rescue shit, man. Yeah. It was cool, like being a cop for sure. But I'd probably say I do remember that call.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I turned into like Rescue Ricky over there, man. I was just doing my shit, I was like, fuck.
I think it's great. I mean, you have a calling, right? Yeah. There's a calling, and you know what it is, and you tried something different, and it didn't work out, but obviously, so it doesn't work out. So then what happens from there? So you just like, this is not for me, right? Is it then going like full steam ahead to try to get a full-time job?
After that, dude, I'm fully honest with people. I'll tell people, what happened? They say that. And at first I was kind of quiet, like I quit. I got to let go off probation, and I'm totally cool with that right now because there's no point hiding shit. And it's like, so that was a huge, like, fuck, dude, I got to let go. I hate to use that word fired. Oh, you were dismissed off probation. Let's quit the bullshit, got fired, right? So I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? Not a big deal, right? It wasn't like anything crazy. It was just maturity issues, it just wasn't for me. Didn't fit in. So here I wanted to, I want to try the military thing. I enlisted. So that was the next step. So after that,
so like you go down to the recruiter's office and you
dude. Yeah. And I was fine. I had my rehire rights with CAL FIRE and things like that. But I was like, I'm going to try this out a little bit. I want to check this out. I want to go back to it. So, enlisted, but I didn't want to go full active duty because I knew I still wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to go back. I wanted something that could serve my community and the state a little bit.
So we're still in the service mode.
Exactly. But also, how could I do this, but how can I also benefit my civilian career in a way? Mm-hmm. So
that's smart. That's a smart play, man. That's a smart play.
No, and it
I don't think a lot of people think like that because they don't go that pathway.
And that's the hard, and it's like full respect to my guys, but it's like, hey, I'm M1A1 tank, operator or something. Fuck you gonna do in your career as a tank operator?
You're gonna go. What you're gonna do is you're gonna learn how to work on tanks, and you're gonna learn how to work on big heavy equipment. You're gonna wrench on stuff.
Right.
That's what you're gonna end up doing.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like some of these weird gunner positions, and I'm like, look, there's nothing. Like I've learned so many other skills besides, like we'll just say like infantry, right?
But it doesn't really translate to the civilian world,
right? And I wanted something that I was like, it's a huge commitment. But selfishly speaking, like I want to do it. I want to serve my country, but also like, what certifications can I get?
I need to get something out of this.
Yeah, I'm not going to be in this shit forever.
It's an investment.
Absolutely. So enlisted in the California Air National Guard, a branch of the Air Force. Okay. So did that. Went to Lackland Air Force Base, for basic training, everything like that. and then became like a chemical warfare specialist, emergency manager. So I spent some unlawful amount of days in Missouri.
Learning about chemical weapons.
Yeah, man. So I did the whole
situation.
Exactly. So I did the whole hazmat specialist stuff, the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, explosive stuff.
Now I hear that is like the worst part of any fire academy is having to get through the hazmat.
Dude, it's funny. I got a story about that. Dude, the hazmat's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Dude, it is. And especially if you don't, like, you're some hazmat whiz bang guy like me. Like, I don't remember what this is, MC, this tanker or whatever this placard is or whatever. We have references for that, right? We have cheat sheets, apps.
Right.
Then we have to get done to the written test. I'm like, never, ever. Yeah. I don't care what any academy or chief says, will I ever have to memorize what that says?
Yeah.
Point blank, period. No. Yeah. There's a book for that.
And even if I had it memorized, I'd probably second guess it. We're talking about hazardous material. I'm probably checking the book anyways.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
I only bring that up because I recently sat through this. There was a lot of this graduation. There was a lot of joking about how miserable that particular section was in terms of the testing
nationwide,
right? And they hate it, right?
Yeah.
They hate it, but it's also a rite of passage.
It is,
right? And whether it's about memorizing it or doing the work to get through the test, which is the test, like that doing the work part. Nonetheless, so you get in this hazardous material stuff. Now this sounds interesting to me, and this is going to be what, 2013, 2014?
Yeah, end of 13.
Okay. All right. So I mean, we're kind of on the tail end. We're on the tail end of Iraq and everything that was going on over there, but we're smack dab in the middle of the Afghanistan stuff.
Syria is popping off, things like that.
Yep, in Syria. So tell me about this training real quick. Like, what's some of the crazy shit you're doing?
One of the things is these things aren't open source, and there's some that are, and some of the things that was very interesting, scared me shit. So there's only 2 places in the United States that have like live agents that first responders can actually go to. So I'm talking like
anthrax.
Yep, anthrax, sarin, VX.
VX gas, yeah. Okay.
So there's 2 places. One's in Anniston, Alabama, and one's at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay.
So Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri is training the military people. In Anniston, Alabama, the Center for Domestic Preparedness is training firemen, cops, civilian responders for that. So that was trippy, going in this facility, and obviously all suited up, the personal protective equipment, but actually like holding like VX. I'm like, holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope this lowest bid military equipment that I'm wearing is not fucking lowest bid, dude, right now. Because I'm like, I am
government issue.
Yeah, I was like, there's no coming back. I'm like, oh, this fucked up. What am I looking at the guy? He's gonna be a pinpoint people. I should say that's one of the things. But we have these eyes we're staring at each other, and we're like, bro, we're fucked.
Yeah.
I was like, what do we sign up for? Yeah, like this is anthrax. Oh, this is sarin. Like
crazy.
Ooh. Yeah.
So now you have a commitment. You're still in the guard?
I'm still in right now.
Yeah, because you drill very local. You drill here in the area.
Yeah.
So this brings me back. So there's this move into service in the National Guard, right? You've done a lot of things already.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're with CAL FIRE full time.
Seasonally.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But you live in Oregon. I have to ask, man.
Oh, so
wait, what the hell? Like, you work for CAL FIRE, and you actually, like, your station is actually south of where we are right now.
Yeah, my current one. Yeah.
So you have to go another, say, hour and 15 minutes south of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Oregon, dude. Like, I love Oregon. Like, I love it.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah. So yeah, and then,
but that's a lot of commuting, man. What is up? How did this happen?
It's a lot. So after that, did the cop stuff, so did the military stuff. That's cool. Came back, did a quick little like deployment thing here and there. Still like activations through the state. So military career is going good. I love it. Love the guys who I'm with, and respond to state and local emergencies as well. On top of the military commitment with the Air Force. Went back to CAL FIRE at the time, so I don't apply. And so when I worked then, moved up to Oregon for the common story, for the other gender.
You chased a chick up there.
I fucking did.
That's so common. Yeah.
I did. So we were together for a while. Single Pringle now. Didn't work out.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So after I stayed up there, dude. Like, I kind of fell in love with it.
It's great up there.
I had a bunch of best friends, my buddy up there. That's when I got into competitive shooting.
Yep.
Excuse me. So, one of my best friends, got the gun store up there, started shooting for a couple different firearm companies.
It's a Black Flag
Armory. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Out there in Medford, Oregon. Yeah. It's fucking solid people. And I started doing that and started getting sponsored by the NRA, started flying around nationwide with them. and then a couple other companies I working for at the time, like Vortex Optics and stuff like that.
So talk about the comp shooting. What exactly are you doing?
Yeah, so I shoot 3-gun. Okay. Now I say COVID kind of fucking screwed everything over. Yeah, and especially fire season for me now is hell. And then now out of the seasonal now into a permanent position. But 3-gun, but it's a different 3-gun. So it's not just rifle, pistol, shotgun.
Explain this. Yeah, expand on this.
So it's the NRA TPC Tactical Police Competition. So to enter these matches, you got to be active, retired military, or law enforcement.
Okay.
Through that, so it's shooting 3-gun, but your rifles cannot be like fucking crazy blue, red. There all should be duty approved guns that you would use actually in a law enforcement military situation.
Right. So we're talking carbines.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So the AR world. So like 16 inches, minimum or 14.5, like pin and welded rifles, 30 round.
Non-suppressed.
Correct. Non-suppressed just to pick up the shot timer. Red dot or, low power variable optic, 1x6, 1x8s, things like that.
Okay.
But pretty much stock, like no crazy modifications, no 100 round mag pull drums, things like 50 rounders, Right. And the handgun, same thing. We're in a red dot world, a big red dot guy. So you are. Dot, I am.
Yeah, you're on the dot train.
Yeah, 100%.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the only way to go. Only way to go. Yeah.
Once you go to the dot, you're not going back the other way.
No. One of my best friends actually is a deputy chief up there in Southern Oregon. Teach red dot shooting, stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's huge. He's actually the first agency in Oregon. I don't know, maybe in California that's mandatory to run a dot.
Oh, they mandated you.
So you actually issued a Glock 17 Gen 5. That's interesting. Yeah, with a RMR on there.
That's interesting. So interesting.
So you're fucking shooting with a dot. That's it. Or you don't call. You're not working for my department.
I think that's a great policy to have. Quite frankly, with technology, we should be using it. I think with properly trained.
Yeah.
It's going to prove itself out that it's just I think it's a better option. Can there be issues with malfunctioning?
100%.
There's always going to be that, but I think there's a give and take in everything. We just locally, I think our sheriff's department here, Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department, just approved the use of dots. And you have to qualify, and they're using, you have to use a specific one. And, there's a lot of agency, mandated policy around it, but it's starting to show itself.
Right, CAL FIRE law enforcement officers, they're in the SIG 320s.
Okay.
They just approved dots. So all the LEO agencies out there, if the CAL FIRE Police is running red dots, you should start red dots. Just
they're a little bit more progressive. Some of the biggest departments in the country.
Yeah. I think Houston or something like that runs red dots and stuff. So, it's just way easier. Of course, you got to train with it just like anything else, just like running a handheld weapon light, things like that.
So you're running AR with an optic, LPVO. You're running red dot on your Gen 5 or Gen 5 17.
Yeah, I'm a 320 shooter and staccato, so I got a little staccato.
Okay, running that.
Yeah, a little staccato.
And then what about shotgun?
Shotgun, so same thing. So it can't be like 24 inches, some massive. It has to be like law enforcement recruits and no more than like 18 and a half inches. So which is cool because I like it.
It's got to fit in a vehicle, right?
Exactly, and there's like accuracy. It's not like 3-gun where you ping a steel and you run. They actually score your shots. So there's some accuracy involved as well. So I run a Beretta 1301.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a little semi-automatic shotgun. Right. Love that gun, dude. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how frequently are you doing this? Are you getting up?
So those last like year and a half, man, it's almost been, besides little local things here and there, it's almost been zero. What just due to COVID, some politics going on with the NRA that a lot of people have seen.
Yep.
Online.
A lot of things happen with the NRA people don't like.
Yeah.
So a little less. I mean, let's be honest. The last couple of years in terms of fire season has been
hell.
We have to talk about this.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So I mean, some of the biggest fire seasons on record have happened just in the last couple of years.
Yeah, last 5 years, yeah.
All over the country, the world for that matter. But if we start adding in, Australia and some
South America.
Yeah.
If the rainforest is burning, there's an issue. So I don't care what people say, climate change, whatever, whatever. I mean, something's fucked up if the rainforest is on fire, right?
It's usually has something to do with some human somewhere or some group of humans.
All right, 80 to 90% of fires are human caused.
Right. So I mean, you don't get to do it often, but you're still out there shooting. You're training with your buddies. I have seen you doing that.
Yeah, still am. Yeah. Day before yesterday, I was out the range. Yeah,
cool.
A little suppressor.
Yeah.
That's another reason I'm staying in Oregon, exactly.
Oregon, you can get away with it.
For now.
I'll have to come up and visit.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I always got a place to stay, dude. I got some toys up there.
So let's talk about, let's talk a little bit about firefighting and just kind of what you've experienced. I mean, you've done a lot of things now, but I want to talk about the firefighting thing and maybe bring some light to what it's like working for CAL FIRE and some of, again, in these last couple of seasons, I would almost compare it to, and this might not be a fair comparison. I have no practical experience in any of this, so I'm going to try and kind of maybe draw one. And that is like, you can train and train some more.
Yeah.
But none of that training is going to bring to you the kind of knowledge that you're going to get from being just enveloped in whatever the situation is, right? So it'd be like,
nailed it on the fucking,
if you're a special forces operator or you're a law enforcement guy or whatever, and you're doing all this training with your buddies in these controlled situations, nothing will test you more than an ops tempo, right? Or a fire season that goes, it just seemingly will not stop.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have to get your shit pushed in, dude.
This is it.
Yeah,
so that's another good way of looking at it.
Yeah, you just have to. You're just going to get bent and go fucking tits up on a fire. That's it, dude.
And so talk about how that, what you saw. And then I want to talk about what maybe has changed and how we prepare maybe the same or differently going into, because right now when this we're doing this podcast in the beginning of May.
Yeah, we're right here. Right on.
I mean, so the fire season is...
Yeah, we're especially the San Francisco Bay Area, and so we're popping fires already. So
right now. So I want to talk a little bit about what's being, how you prep and how you stay ready. Same, similar, different, now versus before. But maybe can you talk about kind of what that was like for those... I mean, 2020 was insane.
It was nuts.
I mean, and then it got into 2021 too, but 2020 was crazy.
Yeah, dude. So I was actually on a date, dude. I was in 2020. I was actually in Southern Oregon, and I'm sitting there, and I looked at the weather. We all nerd out every day. We kind of check the weather, lightning, shit like that. I always, of course, we get lightning the whole like Lassen, Modoc County, and through the Sierras, dry lightning all the way down to Fresno, the southern part of the Sierras.
Now let's be honest. Let's be honest though.
Yeah.
This gets you excited.
Oh fuck yeah!
You're a firefighter, right?
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Nothing makes you happier than going fight.
Well, let me digress.
I got you. Bit. People lose their homes because there's a lot of tragedy that comes with these.
Yeah, and I see it like, so like the Forest Service is money involved, right? There's like hazard pay. So a lot of those guys, it depends on their, their fires to start. They get paid more, right? We're portal to port, just like any other fire department. Like if I'm sitting on the couch sleeping, or I'm at the campfire in paradise, right? It doesn't, I'm getting paid the same. So I see that, I get excited. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is gonna be a good fire, but also like I'm fucked. I'm working like 100 days in a row now.
Right.
So I'm like, God damn it at the same time.
Right.
I'm like, yes. But
life is over for a bit. Yeah.
Yep. Goodbye, honey. Right. Or whoever. But I'm at this date and I'm looking down and I'm over there like, I'm coming into work late the night before. I forgot I had something going on the day before. And I'm over there by like Hornbrook, Siskiyou County, McLeod, right? I-5, Pikes Mount Shasta. And I'm looking out and I'm like, oh my God. Like just a light show, and it's just nonstop, literally from cloud to cloud. It was crazy East Coast, southern, lightning storms. I'm like, this is bad. I don't see a lick of rain on my truck. I'm like, we're fucked.
It's crazy how you're describing that, because just over the hill here in Santa Cruz, I have some close friends who know a lot of people over there, and everybody was lined up to see how quote unquote cool the lightning show was.
Oh yeah, I was
right over the water.
Yeah,
nobody was thinking how bad this or what this potentially means. 24 hours after that, everybody knew.
Yep. It was ridiculous. I don't know how many fires. There's still a map somewhere I think CAL FIRE produced. It was some disgusting, dude, like 20,000 positive downstrikes or something like that in the whole state. And most of it came, from that, the four corners of the United States and the wind, how it comes down, that whole north wind down the I-5 corridor. So all of it got hit pretty much Northern California. I think the lowest fire we got was somewhere down in Ramada.
Within a month, there was like over 250 fires burning or something like that.
Yeah, more than that, I think. Yeah, put in retrospect, it's like we have state-funded, we have like 356 state-funded CAL FIRE engines that you see driving around, right? And then we have contracts on top of that, like the city of Pebble Beach,
right.
Riverside County Fire Department, right? They're contracted. City of Morgan Hill, right down the road. There was like 2 engines not committed. There was one sitting in Redding and one sitting like San Luis Obispo that were not committed to an incident. Hence why we saw Big Sky, Montana pulling in Gilroy.
Right.
Billings.
They were coming from all over the country. New
Jersey. Yeah. Department of Forestry flew an engine on C5s and C130s.
Bringing in guys from like Texas.
Yeah. They drove over, man. They're trading patches with a guy from Dallas Fire Department.
Crazy.
Downtown San Jose.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insanity. So.
Oh yeah.
It was total insanity.
48 days. Yeah.
I mean, for a large part of the state and the metropolitan areas, at best they were mildly inconvenienced, right? We're talking COVID, so everything was pretty much on lockdown at that point when those things were happening. Everybody was stuck inside, but they'd go outside and it was orange, right? Like you couldn't see across the street. There was smoke everywhere. The air quality was really poor, but that was pretty much it. What's the reality of it from where you were standing?
It was bad because we can get to definitely the mental health part for sure. Cause
that's where I'm trying to go.
Yeah, I had it for sure. A big life-changing event that happened after that fire season. And, it's fucking terrible, but open book, man. Like California used to be called, CAL FIRE used to be called CDF, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day. California Divorce Foundation, right? That was a nickname for it. Terrible. I think we've changed that as a department from starting from the academy down below. There's one captain, Captain Henri. I'm going to drop his name real quick. Definitely an influential man. We'll get into the whole thing about yoga and mental health and wellness, this TRX stuff, the rogue stuff that we implementing that like at the academy for the permanent company officers, the academy that just graduated through for the new engineers, new captains, battalion chiefs, everything like that, who go to the state academy, right? So I went to another academy, another 14 weeks, just south of Sacramento, but implementing all that now. So when we were there, like it was bad. We had people quit on the fire line, things like that. But it's only just us talking about other buddies from different local government departments, even in California. Their staffing's an issue. Everyone's hiring. And again, there's different socioeconomic classes. But like, dude, there's fucking jobs out there. We'll hire people. We're not necessarily lowering our standards and stuff, but if you want to be a fireman, now's the time to be a fireman.
Yeah, so why are we having such a tough time, man?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. It was the COVID stuff, the free money going out there. It was great. Some people needed it. I didn't, fortunately, thank God, I didn't need it. Although I just found out I owe it on my taxes, I guess. I didn't remember. I hit my bank account. It was great. But,
oh, you got your $400 check?
Yeah, fuck whatever. $400 bill. $400 bill. Gas money.
Exactly.
These days, God damn, man. So the Oregon trip, it doesn't help driving some diesel now. You got to sell it for, a Tesla or something like that. Overdriving this diesel. But, yeah, it's hard, man. I think you could say like low pay, right? Sure. Is it the highest paid career? Absolutely fucking not. Could I make more money work for another department? Yeah, sure. Would I get more experience? No, So we can always look at other different fire departments and different careers, but it's a hard working job. Like when I show up to work, get your shit on. We're going to PT hard.
It's blue collar as fuck.
Yeah, that's it. There's definitely some white collar stuff out there for sure. Like the report writing and classes and leadership stuff that the computer age now. But I'm like, dude, yeah, you put in work. You cook. If you're not a good cook, don't apply to my department. I'll tell you that straight up. Cooking's my jam. I just made a second Instagram page.
Is that right?
Snacks of Smokey.
No shit.
I didn't post one fucking picture on there. Yeah, I don't got time. But when I do, I will. I'm just firehouse cooking.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you the story. This is a funny one. I'll leave this fireman now. He doesn't work for the department. We're running fires all day. This is like deep Lassen County. It's like red flag warning, right? Low humidity, winds blowing. Hot as fuck. So we're like 7 or 8 fires in that same day, just fire after fire after fire. So we're coming back and we're kind of fat being fat staffing that day. So we had a couple guys who were just staying at the station helping out with logistical stuff. This one guy's brand new. And so I call, we're at the fire. It's like, hey, tell what's his face at the station to get dinner ready because we're going to come back late. So, all right, cool. So we're cooking a hot meal. Hey, man, yeah, man, I'll get dinner ready. You guys are good. Okay, cool. We'll probably be there in like 20, 30 minutes. So we pull up to the firehouse. I'm all pumping. The engine refueling it full fuel. We're getting a new hose complement on there. We're shaking our shit off because it's just been busy, man. So I go inside before anyone to kind of check on this guy. And I'm like, hey, just check dinner's ready before the captain and the chiefs all come in. I walk inside. I'm all looking around the kitchen. We have this huge table and we just kind of serve family style at this one firehouse. Everyone grabs a plate and there's all the meals. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the meat and the sides and veggies all there. There's iced tea. And I just see one big ass pot. Like we use for pasta, right? Excuse me. I'm looking around and I'm like, kind of perplexed. Fuck, where is everything at? And I already knew that. I'm like, we're fucked. It's like, this is not good. They're like, hopefully there's like ribs on the Traeger outside or something. But I'm like, I didn't see any smoke coming from the Traeger. And we got like, ugh. So go and I open up the, it was bad. I open up the oven with these Wolf stoves, right? Fucking bad.
No, those are top notch.
Yeah. So I open it up and I see a bunch of bread. I see Wonder Bread.
Oh boy.
This is a bad deal.
You're going to feed a bunch of firefighters been on fire.
Yeah, dude, this is not good. Yeah. So, and then I'm like, all right, what happens? So he comes back, walking in. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? And he's like, garlic bread. I'm like, what? Garlic bread? What are you doing? I was like, bro, I was like, we make our own, garlic stuff, the San Francisco sourdough and all this. I'm like, or French bread. I'm like, what? We'll cut up garlic our own and make a little paste and everything and do it up. I go over to the pot, open up, there's chili in there. I tell you, it's like 101 outside, right? And I look in the trash and I see like a stag chili, like hot. There's a hot shit
right there, dude.
Dude, I was like, and so I was like, what is garlic bread? And dude, there was like a piece of butter that wasn't even burnt on there, and the garlic salt, the Laurie's and shit just sprinkled on top, just fucked off. I'm like, all right, well, dinner's fucking done, dude. But he was like, what was getting to that captain all pissed off was bad, dude. We ended up ordering pizza. Of course, I'm in charge of this guy. You could kind of like talk to about it, whatever. It's not his thing. It wasn't his career. Not a big deal. It doesn't work for us anymore. But he didn't know how to cook. So not only is this job, right, I was fortunate enough to go through those hurdles and challenges, being a law enforcement officer, working for the Park Service before going through Boy Scouts, learning how to cook. And that's why I relate everything back then. Because now, there's cookbooks out there and I love to cook. But not only just that, like a fireman's, cleanliness wasn't up there. His attention to detail wasn't up there. Mm-hmm. When we waxed the fire engine and missed the whole spot. So I'm looking at it, and did he get yelled at shit ton? Yeah, absolutely. But it just wasn't his jam. I don't know what he's doing now, but
this goes back to a couple of things.
Common story.
You just mentioned a couple of things. One was the influences that you had as a young man and how that carried over. I think that's important, and I think we've already connected the fact that probably a lot of young kids, young people, men and women for that matter, are not getting these things, so they're not prepared for things later in life. There's a couple other things there. First, like people might be laughing, like, "Come on, dude! Like you signed up to be a fireman, not a cook." Well, you are in charge of you're in charge of the guy next to you, and that guy's in charge of you and your safety and your well-being and your ability to perform. And you got to have one another's backs. And putting nutrition into the system in order to be out there, to be able to go out there and perform is extraordinarily important. And I don't want to be thinking about you not doing your job when I'm out there doing it.
No, right? Absolutely.
We need to know another.
It's a huge part of the job.
And go back to missing the waxing spot. Like, okay, so you missed a spot on the engine, right? That you didn't wax. How do I know that you checked whatever this piece of safety equipment was now, because you're not paying attention to detail?
Absolutely. And that's what it is, because I would think like that too. It's like, what's this captain tripping about me not wearing some uniform, this on policy? I was like, chill out, dude. It's just fucking...
I gotta be honest though, dude. Like, it's less about not being your jam and you're just not ready.
Right.
This is not the right place for you, period. It's not your jam whether you like it or not. It's you're not cut out for this. Maybe you could be, but you need to learn a few more lessons before you come back to this.
I tell people all the time, what's my first job ever was working at In-N-Out Burger, San Ramon, California. Right here. One of the hardest and best jobs I've ever had. They paid really well, so shout out to that company. But I remember so many times missing those fucking Friday night and Saturday night football games and dances and stuff. And I was sitting there with my goofy ass little hat and my apron. Oh, here you go. You're fucking double. But I learned so much from that job, getting yelled at and shit like that, that guys will say it all the time. Hey, McDonald's is hiring. Not in a disrespectful way. If you can't do this job, you can. But exactly how you said that, and that's really common. If you didn't wax that engine, or SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, or air tanks that we wear, how do I know you did not check that this morning? I've had it before that I trusted somebody to check out equipment once, and I was like, let me go look at that later. And I was like, oh, it's fucked off, empty tank. And I was like,
that's just not a position you can put people in.
No, absolutely. And that's like, so that's where that stuff relates into. Do everything 100,000%, every single time.
So you're in this, like, for lack of a better term, you're in the heat of the fire season, right? And there's all these things happening, and this is just one of the things that you're having to deal with. Right? On top of, you're not going to see your family, your loved ones, your significant other, or whatever it happens to be for days on end. You don't know when it's going to stop. I have to imagine then it just looked like a forever thing. Like, how many days on were you in that season before you got a day off?
47.
That's a long time. I don't think most people could probably relate to that.
No, it's not healthy at all. And it's going with our department. Luckily, we're making a shift right now with more hiring, whether or not you're involved with politics or not, governors, liberal, Democrat, whatever. The fact is that the current governor of California is giving us some more funding. Great, whatever.
Good.
Supportive of the fire service, CAL FIRE. So we have a new chief in, things like that. Super. He was one of my first battalion chiefs. So super great guy, things like that. So we're getting this funding, and hopefully a lot of that will alleviate it. but we're just such a big department.
It takes a long time to turn the ship.
Oh man, like, I'm employed by the federal government, the military, and employed by the state of California. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You want things to, get done.
There's a lot of red tape, right?
Oh, huge.
So as you're going down this, we're going down this path right here, talking about funding and this crazy, time we had with fire season, and you had quite a bit of experience going into this. What got exposed like during this time for you as a firefighter in the mix? Yeah. What got exposed for you during that time? There were maybe you didn't see coming, or you did see coming, and it was like, I knew this was going to happen, and this is happening at the absolute worst time, which is when it typically happens.
Absolutely.
Right? Like what got exposed? Like you already talked now, you're telling, what I hear you saying is the fire service is very understaffed. So if we had another fire season breakout like we had then, which is very possible.
Oh, will happen. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, it's not,
Very possible. I mean, it could happen, right? It could happen next week.
Yeah.
Like we don't have enough firefighters to do this, right? And even if we do, we may be compromising the quality of people that we're bringing in because there's a sense of desperation there. We have to fill seats. So go back to when you were doing this and all this stuff was going on. Yeah, right? So this kid got exposed real fast. The one you just talked about.
He did. Kitchen. Yeah.
What else got exposed?
Well, so 2020 booming, right? So we have those lightnings from the SU complex, LNU, like Leak Napa unit. They basically use those identifiers for the CAL FIRE units because they're just so big. So at the time, went through a pretty rough breakup to my relationship. So that coupled with some PTSD stuff in the military, and coupled with a rough call. I had one in the Park Service, and I never did anything about it. So what that was, it was a flipped over car with a child in it. We had to pronounce her. Even as a wildland firefighter, we still responded with the local department. Mm-hmm. And child was upside down in the car, and dead on arrival. So we were pronouncing it with the paramedic in the back of the ambulance with the mother right there. And here I am, 18. And I remember, man, we can't do anything about it. I don't know what to say. I let that paramedic who was there a little bit more, and she ended up slapping me. I still remember this. So like, fucking save my baby. You killed her.
Wow.
Right. So,
wow.
Yeah, dude, I was tripping. Drank heavy after that. And I was like, okay, I don't know. No, I did. I knew I didn't. What the fuck? I didn't become a murderer. What are you talking about? Here I am, 18. I don't even know. So she ended up hitting me, slapping me, and crying. And I ended up leaving. The coroner came and all that. But there wasn't no support for mental health, things like that with the part of that. And hopefully there is. You have a good buddy. He owns another podcast, Anchor Point. He's trying to get the rights and more mental health for wildland firefighters, because it's definitely there as well. I mean, you may not be responding to the medical aids like we are to the point, but those guys are out there doing the same thing, and everyone needs it.
So, man, I don't know. So you leave this call. What happens? You go right back to the station? Right back to
fucking work.
Right back to the station.
Nothing.
So you don't have anything. Is it because the resources just don't exist?
You see in the firehouses and stuff when you're taking a piss, or the urinal, there's some there's an EAP fucking phone number. I got told that if you got problems, you call the number, but you're also a seasonal firefighter, bud. So I don't know if you have time to burn. I was like, okay.
Yeah. What's the reality if you call that number?
But you call it, there's like 7 free counseling sessions, but that's it. Nowhere near, I'll get to what our department does, which is fucking awesome. But no, that was
nothing. And we've had the Overwatch guys in here.
Yeah, good
Jesse
guys.
And Greg. We talked a little bit about that and the red flags that can put up for you as a firefighter or an officer, if you're in law enforcement, right, or whatever, for the other people on your team. Because now, if you put out there that you're having a bit of a problem, right? Like I'm having a little bit of an emotional issue dealing with this thing that happened, and I really need somebody to talk to. Well, now people step back and they go, well, don't talk to Pranay, man. He's, he's not feeling too good. He's not too stable right now.
So
which creates confidence issues and creates all kinds of stuff.
So with our department now, with CAL FIRE, absolutely not. So we embrace it, and it's good. Like, I've never felt that position at all with my department right now. So other agencies, yeah, absolutely, right? You're a bitch. You're a pussy. Get back to work.
Wow.
What are you talking about? Even the military too, right? That red tape is hell. Even just like antidepressant meds or whatever, it's like, oh no, you're flagged. But you actually need it, right? I mean, whether you believe in antidepressants or not, just using that as an example, right?
There's a lot of different ways to go at a particular problem, right?
Yeah.
But some of them is what I guess what we're saying here.
Yeah.
That is a stamp. That's like the red wearing the scarlet letter. Right. If you take that help, because now it follows you forever, and it's inside the jacket, right? It's inside the folder.
Exactly. Your personnel file, right?
Every time they open it up, they go, oh,
yeah. And you know what? That's like with our department now, it's like, so that happened, getting back to that. So I guess that happened and that stuck with me, but I was just swept underneath the carpet. I didn't really think about it, and I thought about it, whatever. And then went through a lot of different stuff. So stuff with my father ended up passing away. So there's some closure issues that I never got. Why were you not there for me? Abusive, physically, mentally, all that. I wanted to, call him out as an adult. Never could happen. So then 2020 came in, and being gone for work for so long. So a lot of people are like, oh, you work 3 days on, 4 days off. That's awesome. Like, no, fuck that. Like, I wish I work your 9 to 5 sometimes so I can go home to a wife and go have a beer at the end of the day. Like, no, it's 72 hours of straight work. I can get called at 2 a.m. And now that I drive and now I'm in charge, I'm like, oh no, I can just sit in the back of the fire engine and look outside and see what's going on. Like, no, it's like, you got shit to do.
And the stuff that you're doing is stuff, or seeing is stuff that's sometimes it's destruction, it's death, it's tragedy.
No, and humans aren't supposed to see that. I don't give a fuck what anybody's
not as frequent, and certainly not as frequently as you're forced to look at it. And again, people could say, well, that's the job, man. That's what you signed up for.
Right.
Okay.
I've got that before. Yeah, I got to argue.
Okay. Well, all right. It's part of the job. So there should be part of the job that helps balance the things that I'm doing. What is that?
Exactly.
What's being provided?
Right. And that's like, yes, right. There is that job. If you cannot handle it, I got to find a good word for it, but if you cannot,
it's coping.
Yeah. Cope with it, or, recognize what it is and being resilient, then that's fine. This job is not for you. And Apple right down the road is hiring, totally fine. However, with our department now, so 2020 comes through. I get another call everybody's familiar with Lassen National Park area. So north of Lassen up there, almost into
you're almost into like Idaho or
Oregon. Yeah. Oregon, south of Klamath Falls.
Yeah.
So we get a call, wintertime, vehicle accident. Okay, cool. Just bread and butter vehicle accident. I've seen so many dead bodies, right? Adults. The kids is always a rough one, right?
Wow.
So I get there, and we're trying to find this vehicle accident, snowy, and this is highway that's all fucked off. And ended up pulling up. It's fine. One engine got there before us. We're the second due company to it. So I pull up. One of my buddies is there, and I see a car overturned, completely smashed. And we radio 911 call. It's like an OnStar activation, no service out there in the middle of nowhere. Find out, pull out a kid, and we immediately start CPR. Again, child passes away.
Wow.
Had a pulse, lost it. Mother was there, big mess. That the local deputy up there wasn't able to pronounce. I was like, no, you're the sheriff corners. You're right, sheriffs are corners as well. Deputy sheriffs are also corners in California. I was like, that's your job. You need to do that. Like, I'm not fucking pronouncing it. So, okay, man, I can't do it.
Wait, he can't do it?
No, like he physically couldn't. Like
he was emotionally, physically could not bring himself to do this.
Correct.
Knowing the reality of the situation, couldn't do it.
Yeah. So immediately I'm thinking about the one call I had damn near almost 10 years ago in 2010.
It's post-traumatic stress, man.
So I'm like, and here I am, reputation like this guy, goes into fires. I love this, all this stuff. I'm here with a couple new guys. Like I know my shit, kind of cocky sometimes, with work, and like I feel comfortable. Shouldn't say me. But he was like, hey man, can you do it? I was like, do what? And I'm like jittering. I'm like, do what, man? Like, child's gone. Like, I'm going to go back in service. We're available on the radio. We're going to return. Of course, right? I can't do that. I'll fucking help him out, right? So I'm like, take a deep breath. I was like, all right, let's go. Oh, right there on the side of the highway, I walk up to him. I grab, hold the mom, and language barrier there, and tell her, just fact, right? You don't want to beat around the bush when it comes to this stuff. So, ma'am, your son did not survive. Reckon that's it.
Wow.
And And of course, the response, you're fucking lying, you know. And I was like,
wait, that's not what I would have guessed.
Oh, like, yeah. Or yeah. No. Well, I mean,
that's not a course to me. To me, it would be like somebody just kind of breaks down physically in front of me, emotionally, obviously. But you just described two very, very different things that would have never actually crossed my mind in these situations. Yeah. Like this is, I don't know if I'm mind blown. I'm certainly taken caught off guard a little bit because I understand there can be many, many different things. But the first thing is to know this isn't true. How do you respond to that, man?
Yeah, to this day.
What do you even say?
I'm trying to like convince her, but I'm just like, I'm there for her, and I was like, no, ma'am, like he is. And the sheriff of the department actually showed up at scene because she asked like, well, after, I shouldn't say most comfortable time. There's no fucking comfortable time. When she was in a different state of mind, she asked to see her son. And it was hard because, I was doing CPR on this kid, and I remember this is where I blanked. Now it's coming back to me now. But I remember, so after doing CPR, the ambulance showed up. We asked for an air ambulance, couldn't fly, snow. So the ground ambulance came, took a little bit longer. So I remember running there, and I remember I was doing CPR. I had my turnout jacket, and I just ripped that shit off. And I was telling my buddies, like, fuck it, grab my shit. I don't even care. Turn off my turnout. So it was just stinking hot doing CPR. So I grabbed this kid. Ambulance comes up. I'm running with the kid down the road, an eighth of a mile, put him in the ambulance. So the EMT's driving, the paramedics in the back. I'm like, fucking go. Yeah, at this point, I'm smart,
Right.
And they were like, where are we going? And I was like, fucking Reading, let's go. Like, code 3, let's go. So I'm pumping on the channel. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm hoping spiking a bag for the paramedic, helping him out. So I'm like doing all my stuff. And then like this fucking ambulance. So I'm just focused, dude. They say tunnel vision dude, it hits. It hits. If anyone tells you it doesn't, it does. So I'm sitting there, and it felt like forever. I'm like, why haven't we fucking moved? I'm fucking angry, I'm at the point now where I'm just thinking about that other kid. It's like, no, we're going to save this one. I'm not letting another fucking kid die. Like, fuck this, not on my watch. Yeah. And paramedic, I see like the flat line and all that shit on the EKG, and she's like, Pranay. I'm like, what? So what the fuck are you doing? I was like, let's go. And she's like, no, stop fucking moving. He's dead. And I was like, no, he's not. So I'm in there with one of my bosses and stuff who isn't a kid too. And I'm like,
wow.
So it was like, yeah, it was rough, dude. And finally I just sat there. I just sat down, dude. Like the pictures you might see of this. So I'm sitting on the back of this fucking ambulance, just fucking done, defeated, feel like a piece of shit. My fault. So I'm like, fuck, we should have got out of bed faster that night. We should have drove the fire engine fast. Everything. Yeah. Dude, I did shitty CPR back there, like this is karma from what the fuck. So I'm sitting there looking at this child that I knew, unfortunately on impact of the car accident. Like the child went to God that minute. There's nothing we did to change that. So, yeah, that was rough. And here I am fucking throwing shit, fucking angry. Chief's there. He's like, are you okay? Shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. I remember saying that to him. I apologized after, but he knew, we all are in that way. Don't touch me, I was pissed, walking around, pacing, and that's when I ended up doing the pronouncing thing. And the sheriff came, and the wife held her son. So after that, went back to the station and threw away all my clothes, man, blood-soaked stuff. I was fucking done. Did a little after-action review thing like that. So I was still not right. So after that happened, next shift come down. So things are kind of calming down now after these wildfires throughout the whole state, right? Things are crazy and working everywhere, right? Wildfires are burning, homes are burning. So then I get hit with this call. Then I get hit with a breakup.
Things are spinning wildly out of control.
Yeah, so I'm going off duty. And this is so the time I'm driving a little Honda Accord. I-5 Williams, right? Williams area. I'm going out for a drill weekend. And that was going to be my last drill weekend. That was going to be my last day. I had a whole suicide note wrote up. I was done. I knew what I needed to do with finances, had my shit all packed up, clean, ready to go. I was done. It came to the point where, like, fucking shaking and shit. So thinking about it, it came to the point where I was like, I was done with everything. Like, I'm not loved anymore. It's all my fault. I can't fucking do my job anymore. These kids are dying on my watch. I'm fucking cursed. I don't want to be on another call. Why the fuck am I working 47 days because my department can't get their shit in line? I was blaming everything. It was everyone's fucking fault except mine. Excuse me. It was, yeah. I mean, I definitely took the blame for a lot of it, but I was blaming and projecting a lot in other ways too. Shit you not, pulled over, found a little parking lot that I was like, I'm fucking shooting myself right here. I was like, I'm done. This is it. I don't give a fuck. And, you know, selfishly, I was like, man, you know, I didn't care what mom would think. All these people that I was like allegedly love me. I was like, God damn, I'm with the strippers. She doesn't love me. This person doesn't love me. All I want in my dream, you know, be married as a dad. Still is, you know, and I look back at it, but I'm like, at that time, it was over. Fuck this fire department. I don't even care. I'm not loved. I'm not worthy enough. Dad didn't love me. You know, I had weird relationships with some of my friends. Like, this is all me. Here I am just trying to do good. This fucking American hero, cop, fireman, military. Like, I was never really liked in high school either. I kind of just wanted the whole public safety lifestyle. And, you know, I was just never, you know, was in the cool kid club in high school. Everything was going through my head. Shit you not, God is amazing, as we all believe, and a huge part of my life. So I'm sitting there, 9mm on my lap, and have my laptop up, a Word document, about to hit fucking send, and do my thing. Best friend calls me. One of my best friends also works for CAL FIRE.
Out of the blue.
Shit you not. Calls me. What's up, fucker? Break down crying. So we went to the same high school. We're still works for CAL FIRE, everything like that. Almost followed kind of identical paths. He stayed with CAL FIRE the whole time, but he's like, I don't fucking know. He's like, what do you mean? What are you doing? He's like, sitting here in some fucking piece of shit fucking part of California doing nothing. I was like, no, you're not. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm about to kill myself, dude. That's what I'm about to fucking do. And I was like, what? And he's like, the fuck you are. And I just broke down crying and started talking to him. And I was like, okay, well, you know, hung up, whatever. I was just pissed, man. And at that time I was heavily drinking too. I was just fucking over it. Started smoking cigarettes. I did everything, you know, I started doing everything vice.
A lot of behaviors.
Dude, anything that would change my current mind state to make me feel better, I was, during that little portion of my life. So, hey man, come down and stay with me. I got a buddy you need to talk to. And I was like, who, Brian, going to fucking counselor? This is some weird shit, bro. Trap me into some intervention or something like that.
Isn't it? That's a whole other thing. Like that could be a bad thing.
Right, it would be a good thing.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
But here I am, like the stigma that we were kind of talking about before, right? Put a jacket on me, like I'm some fucking head case or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've said this before, like you all of a sudden wear this identity that you are a head case and that you're the head case versus, look, I'm having an issue right now and I need to work through this issue. And
I say this to you guys who get hired and stuff, and I'll get back to it before I circle back and say, you know, we all go to the doctor when we break our bones, right? So why aren't we going to the doctor when we break our mind?
It's
like, well, why not?
So little,
you know, it's like a mantra that I have now. It's like, you fuck up your bone, you're sick, you're the doctor, right? So what are we doing? We just put it underneath. Now, no doubt did all this trauma and stuff happen to demise in my relationship. So It Takes Two did hang up.
There's a lot of things there, man.
There was a lot of times where I could have been like, and not been like a good boyfriend and been like, you know, like, oh, I got to answer this phone call. Oh, this chief is calling, this captain's calling, whatever, you know, fucking put your phone down. You're off duty, bro. Like, they'll get to you. The fire's going to get put out, right? There's still another fireman out there. You're not some special person out there.
You're not the snowflake, right?
Yeah, you're not that one.
So you're sitting in the car.
So I said, come stay with me in Monterey. So go down to Monterey. He happens to be there. Lives in Monterey. And drove all the way down, whole night. And stayed with him. He said, I got somebody who wants to talk to you. So I'm sitting there breaking down, talking to him. And this one guy, you know, I'll throw his name out. He's just retired. Tony Howard, he's battalion chief. So what CAL FIRE has as our department now, and this is why, like, one of the reasons I'll never leave our department. You know, I definitely owe my department. You know, my department saved my life, 100%. there's like 3 or 4 battalion chiefs. Like we actually have a chief. And you laugh about ironic because it's kind of like, damn, you guys have a battalion chief, like an alcohol and drug abuse battalion chief, a mental health battalion chief, like a wellness battalion chief. We have PT battalion chiefs.
So smart.
He's a fucking badass. He's a PT. He's a battalion chief of physical training for the state. But they're all out of Sacramento area, and it's pretty awesome. And this one guy, he drives like an unmarked Tahoe, drives around like civvies like you and I. He's like, yeah, I'm a chief, but fuck the brass, on my collar. He actually was down there doing a seminar about like our employee support services program, how to be in Monterey.
Wow, moon, sun, and stars. Dude.
So I fucking meet him on the beach in Monterey, Del Monte Beach. I'll remember, if you know where Del Monte Beach is in Monterey, it's fucking gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Dude, fuck, right there.
Don't tell anybody else.
Yeah,
let's just keep that to ourselves.
Dude, I go all the time. Yeah. So I sit there and I'm like, I get a little cigar going to smoke cigars, and I light a cigar, and he was like, "Can I talk to you?" He's like, "I'll fucking meet you." I was like, "Where you at?" And I was like, "No, don't meet me at headquarters. Like, I don't want to go." And there's, "I don't care. You can have a beer if you want to. I'm off duty. I'm chilling. He's like, "Talk to me." Like mano y mano. Like, man, what the fuck is going on? I'm sitting there, I'm crying, I'm talking to him, I'm holding him. Within like 4 days, I'm on a plane, Department's dime, in Colorado, going to a PTSD therapy thing for 10 days.
Wow.
I'm going back here actually in 2 weeks.
Now my mind's blown.
Badass. So we have our ESS programs, right? We have the counseling and therapy that you're like open to 21 days of therapy and stuff.
Okay.
For severe cases or cases that need it, it's called EMDR. I think it's so like rapid eye movement technology. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So you hold those little rabbit fucking little vibrators you hold on to.
Yep.
And the biggest thing for us, I'd probably say, if the Overwatch guys talked about it, it's like, I don't want to go to some therapist. I'm not discrediting a civilian therapist, but right, like you don't understand. Oh, I got in a shooting the other day. Like, I'm usually working about marital issues. So it's like, or hey, I got into this kid. So I had some failures as some therapists going on. They're like, I can't even blame them, but they just don't understand.
No, so that's a whole.
You can't.
So can we talk about this for a second? So going back to this, it's called vestibular. What's the acronym? So they actually use this therapy for brain trauma, right? Is what they. If you get a concussion, they've used this in concussion therapy.
EMDR?
Something
rapid
like
eye
that.
movement.
Yeah. I spent, actually, I should know this. I spent 2 days in a really in-depth seminar out in Las Vegas on concussion protocols and therapies and new kind of treatments that are coming up. And this was part of it. But going back to the whole counselor thing, right? Or seeing a therapist that has zero clue the things that you face. Look, they got taught in school by somebody and did some, did some stuff like in clinic for, that, dealt with maybe the general population. But when you start telling about the stuff that I've heard this before on this podcast, you start telling about the stuff that you actually see and deal with on not just one time in your life that created some trauma, right? Every day in some cases, and then pile on that's the shit that's happening to other people that you're witnessing and having to be a part of. Not to mention all the other stuff that this is, the relationship stuff, like going back to the childhood.
Absolutely, yeah.
You mentioned your dad and your relationship there and all those good. Those are things that maybe the general population and these, again, the general therapist maybe has a little bit more insight on. But this other stuff, this is like piling on. So you go back to the failures, like you're going in there going, what in the fuck? This person has no clue. They're freaking out.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm giving them trauma. Listen to me. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, they're going home to the dinner table telling them about
this fucked up dude, fireman,
this fucked up guy and sitting in front of me. Right. We were laughing about it, but I've heard this before from law enforcement officers, like that, and from ex-mil guys, the same thing. They're walking into these situations where the person that is there is supposed to be helping them is ill-equipped to do so.
They are, and they should stop doing it. And there's nothing against them, but they should stop taking like veteran PTSD or firemen or public safety or nurse stuff, And it's like, it was bad. But like you said, that's only like the stuff that really, the daily car accidents, right? How many dead bodies have been on I-5 or 101 or I-5?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea, man. But I think a lot of people have no earthly idea. It's different. The stuff that gets done every day.
Campfire in Chico, right? Everyone knows up there, like in Paradise, where there's movies and documentaries being like, oh shit, the Paradise. What the fuck's Paradise at? Everyone's like, no, that shit was bad. It was, entire community, and seeing dead bodies and skulls and seeing people.
Wiped out.
Yeah. Like, we like fighting fire, right? I love going into a burning building. I want to go on a fucking roof. There's no other feeling like pulling up a big screaming little Tonka truck, blowing people out of the way, hitting that spring brake, popping out with a hose and a 600. Like, I love it. It's a fucking drug. It's fun.
But it comes with consequence.
No. And that's the things you got to learn, to like the life experience stuff. You coming out of the building, like, all right, chill out. Like, someone just lost their home. Right. And that's the part sometimes that we'll forget as firemen. How you just, fuck yeah, dude, that was a badass job. We stretched to the Division 2. We pulled this engine 3/4 line. We fought fire. We're coming with smiles. And we're like, no, bro. Like, you want to talk like that? That's fine. Let's wait till we get back in the engine.
Yeah, so there's this turning on, turning off.
Someone just lost their home.
But you mentioned, and so they have, again, now they have trauma that they're going to have to deal with. But you're on this plane and you go to
Colorado.
You go to Colorado and they put you into this situation.
Right.
Talk about like you came out, what happened, and how you came out the other side.
So I was like, all right, what is this? Do I got a burn time? No, the department pays me to go. Right. It was on our dime. They paid for a flight or whatever. They took care of hotel to food, everything's taken care of. So supported with our department from our director, Chief 1 down out of Sacramento, supported by the governor's office. So, other fire departments are actually looking at our mental health program right now because it is so great.
Wait. California's doing something right?
They are. I know. Maybe if they open up the gun laws a little bit too, but.
This is a whole other podcast.
I know. Yeah,
but this is outstanding news. I mean, you're here today, so this has had to have been positive, right? So
yeah, but it's just when I get there, I'm still like, okay, if it's a real uncle, I talked to my chief. Sacramento already called my chief, my direct chief, and said, nope, you're fine. We blocked you out. We got coverage for you. So I get to the Sacramento airport. I pull right there. I get fucking hammered, dude. I'm nervous. So I go to immediately line up for the bar. Oh yeah, dude. If I give me my gin and tonic with Tanqueray to go to. And I'm like, all right. And I'm sitting there and drinking it and see if I can hammer it all the way, dude, to Denver. And they pick you up in a little car and take you to this hotel. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
What's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm here by myself. Like, leave your phone in. Like, this is just weird. I'm here for 10 days in Colorado. Damn near the winter time. It's cold and shit. And I'm like, this is fucking weird.
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sport, so a lot of CAL FIRE people who I know personally have gone out there. It's called the 11th hour. Is the thing, and you get there and you work hand in hand with the therapist. Just you in a room, closed door, everything. So, excuse me. From day one, like, where were you born? Like, tell me about everything, all the different random chicks.
Let's peel back all the layers.
Oh, it was rough. I got pissed a couple nights. I was like, I don't want to talk about that, and then we got into the relationship stuff and but there's a lot, right? I mean, department, like, sexual addiction, drug addictions, alcohol problems, relationship issues, PTSD, the job. So I went through that whole process and it was amazing. And I'm actually going back to part 2 here in 2 weeks, flying back.
There's a part 2.
Part 2. Yeah. So I'm going back for another, because some stuff we didn't finish closing up that I want to button up, and going back for another 10 days here in a couple weeks. Week and a half, 2 weeks I'll be flying out. And again, department sponsored stuff. I'm not the only one. We're sending so many people out here to these programs. But dude, that one event changed my life. Being single now, but like, definitely prepared of when I enter another serious relationship. I'll be ready to be a good husband, a good father, learning how to balance the work and life, hanging the badge up at the door, and learning that I did everything that I could for those 2 kids. Right. I did, like, I'm not a dirtbag. I train in shape, I did everything A to B.
You did everything you could do.
Right. Yeah. Did everything I could do. And that's just a part of the job. And you just have to be resilient and be able to bounce back and lean from it, and to teach those new 18-year-old firefighters now.
Yeah.
Be like, hey man, and that's a position, the role that I'm in now as a company officer. I got to, I'm in charge now. I'm no longer just pulling that fire hose to the front door and finding the fire. Like, I did that. Now it's time to pass the torch.
Pass it on.
Yeah.
The knowledge transfer. I wonder, you mentioned, you were doing a lot of things right, but I do wonder now, with your new perspective, has your approach, I think the answer to this is yes, but maybe not. Has your approach changed, or how has your approach, if it has changed, with regard to sort of taking care of yourself in from a physical perspective, from a mental and emotional perspective. How's that different now than what it was before? Obviously, the program is a big part of that because I'm sure they're giving you some tools and things. But maybe what are some takeaways for people that haven't been through the program that they can be doing now? You know, as this stuff is kind of starting to weigh.
Yeah. So there's a couple things I could touch on that topic. I was big into fitness, but I was never like there. After this, you're definitely understanding and. We go to this for hiring, everyone's like, oh, we're hiring different people. And there was all that, what was it, gender stuff and all that, you know, it's like, to me,
we can't leave anybody out of the equation.
Right. The whole, you know, you're not a fireman anymore, you're a firefighter, right? All that stuff. But, you know, I don't care what race, gender, creed, ethnicity, blue, white, black, pink. I don't care what fucking you are, right? Chick.
You got to be able to perform. I don't give a shit either.
If you're 70 pounds soaking wet and you can't pick me up 220 pounds in a bourbon building, you're fucking goddamn useless to me. Yeah. And I say that all the time. So I don't care what you are, or women in the fire service, what, you know, like, no.
You got work to do.
Can you do the goddamn job?
Right, you got work to do.
If I can do the job. So how I was kind of relating to that is the physical aspect. Yeah, definitely step that up. The mental health stuff. Be like, I'm kind of fucked up right now. You know, like, and guys talk about that. Hey, that was a rough call. All right, fuck it. Hey, dispatch, we're going to put the engine one out of service for about 20 minutes. Or I'm going to call the chief and say, we need to figure some shit out now before this compounds and you have a whole fucking crew who's
out
gone.
There, who's
and then you're going to force more overtime. So you want this whole big ass problem, or we can handle it now?
So sometimes it's what you're saying is sometimes it's just about from a leadership perspective. It's just recognizing, hey, situational awareness. Here's what just happened. We need to talk about this. We're not going to just sweep this one under the rug.
Absolutely, it's like super important.
And it could just be 20 minutes of time that could make the difference.
Yeah, let's whip out some cigars and sit in the back porch of the firehouse or whatever, or like, you know,
decompress.
Let's just chill real quick.
Get it off your chest.
Right, or let's go for a drive. You know, let's take 20 minutes and do a lap in our first district.
Got it.
Let's just talk real quick and see what's going on, because it's super important right now. So you mentioned like you get flagged, you don't get flagged, you know, and I think that now it's a one time you were, but now it's like, no, dude, like that generation, as much as that generation gave me the skills that I am right now of being hardworking and focused, and that generation was definitely not supportive of like mental health and, you know, all that we're at right now.
So it's understanding this and confronting it rather than trying to bury it. You mentioned about the physical piece and just staying physically fit and being ready for action
all the time.
Just obviously is going to prepare you. The stronger you are from a body perspective, your mind can kind of hang in there, right? You know, you can get through a lot of things.
Absolutely.
What else? Like what do you do to, I mean, aside from maybe these 20-minute sessions or whatever that you mentioned, like to kind of decompress, what do you do to step back? Again, you're in this program, which is fucking awesome. I don't want to understate that, but are there practices that you've adopted or things that you do differently now than you did before in order to kind of get right and within your own head? And
absolutely.
Is it meditation? Is there anything?
No, dude, 100%. Like, I think so when you go to Ione, California, right, at Jackson, just east of Stockton, community up there, that's where like our state academy is. So after you've gone through another academy, you go this, if you apply and become a permanent personnel, permanent position with CAL FIRE, you go to the state academy for 14 weeks. So yoga is implemented in our academy for PT. Meditation, like sound therapy, breathing exercises is all like actually there. No other academy in the United States, as we know right now, has that type of process. So that's why other fire departments are looking at CAL FIRE. So that coupled with that. So yeah, dude. So like definitely try to get yoga in as much as I can, you know, staying flexible with like good, like dynamic stretches, good workouts, the TRX stuff.
Yep.
The Rogue stuff, they've been great to our department.
So they're starting to bring in, they're starting to fund the physical fitness side of things. It's not just a set of dumbbells and a tire to flip. Like you've
exactly. We have those too for sure, you know, and we have, but here's the thing is we always look at firemen as being jack of all trades. Oh, fucking, we could fix it. Bathrooms overflowing or plumbing broke. Let's fix it. Like, I'm not a fucking plumber. I don't fix that shit. You know, unless you have those skills. How about we pay somebody who's, you know, that's their job. That's their craft to come in and deal with that. You know, we're spending way more money and time fucking it up on our own.
Just to unfuck it.
I know, exactly. And then every year we got to do that again. So they took that perspective with PT. So we're hiring nutritionalists. We're hiring, you know, people who are employed by TRX are actually coming to the CAL FIRE Academy.
Yeah, great.
You know, and they're actually doing that. People from Rogue are coming to firehouses. We're hosting, you know, it's like CAL FIRE Wellness is the Instagram phase about like food stuff. And we're hiring, like I said, nutritionalists and physical therapists, and we're sending captains and battalion chiefs and engineers and permanent personnel to do like, hey, here's a 10-day thing that you're going to go work out with this PT guy for 10 days. You're going to learn these skills, and you can bring it out to the academy, who will then push it to the rest of the state.
Starts with leadership.
It does. So we're actually given all these workouts at the academy now, and we're doing them.
Outstanding.
So it's fucking cool that they're actually, you know, there's a battalion chief and captains that their job, right? They're the wellness battalion chiefs. It's a fucking cool position. And I'm so happy our department's actually focusing.
I am too.
Like it's awesome. Like our department is understaffed. Absolutely. Like, is it less paid than some? Absolutely. Our shifts kind of fucked up. Yeah. You know, and that'll come with union stuff and more time and funding. However, I think our department probably is like, we're fucked up. We're not going to get staffing overnight. It's a slow train and red tape. So let's see how we can fucking take care of ourselves until that part.
Yeah, so the attrition doesn't continue.
Exactly.
Because attrition's going to happen one way or another.
It'll happen.
Either people are going to time out.
Yeah.
Or just one of the things that came up off air before we started, we were just talking about, you know, heart attacks. Heart attack is the number one killer of firefighters.
Number one profession in the United States.
And after retirement.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And it's still, I mean, over 600,000 people die of, you know, whatever it is in the United States.
Yeah.
It's more than that
right.
every year from it. But it's the number one killer for firefighters. Like, and you just mentioned, I mean, how many academies you've been through minus the law enforcement academy? Like four or five.
Yeah.
Like,
different.
With
academies.
all this investment of time and effort, you would think they'd want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finally they are. Finally,
that's right. The caboose is finally coming up the train and finally like, all right, now we're going to go look at one.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I think that process is amazing now, and we're seeing that, and PT is a big thing. You know, it's like, sure, we're entitled to so many hours a day of PTing, but it's super important. Yeah, I'm a captain right now, and he said the same thing. He was like, here's my priorities, you know, my boss. And he's like, here's the priorities for our station, and our battalion. And it's showing there, like, you know, being fire ready, you know, ready for calls, always in service. Makes sense. Cool. Got it. Number 2, physical fitness. Number 3, training. I was like, interesting. I was like, why 3? And I was like, well, if you're fat and can't do your fucking job, right? I don't give a fuck how good you can pull that hose or not, you know, because usually it's like get training, but it's like, no, PT, and he's a very regimented PT schedule, and I love it, dude. And it's like, it was great. I mean, it's fun. Just get out there and pump. And it was like, it's an hour of your day and you're going to be so much better.
These are facts, right? This is undisputable.
But so many guys want to get out of it. And there's some days at work that were like, fuck, we're on 40 days. Like, all right, but do something with your body, because then you're going to tweak some shit. Then you're going to hear the story where you're going to be like, oh, I tweaked my back. Oh, damn, dude, on a job being a fire, we call it a job. No, dude, getting out of the fire engine. What? Yeah.
Reaching over to pick up my bag off.
Oh, god damn, dude. And I was like, when was the last time you peed? And you know that person. You're like, bro.
You saw this coming.
Now you're fucked. Now someone's forced to work behind you, you know, and there's a whole trickle down effect.
You're on a desk, and that ends up costing more money, you know, from a funding perspective anyway, to have to deal with all that for all the reasons you just mentioned.
Right.
So, man, I mean, I am blown away by the level of support that you're getting specifically from your department. What advice or what insight can you give people that don't have such a supportive department out there in the fire service, but also maybe an LEO or whatever, for people that are dealing with the same or similar things that and challenges that you've had to deal with yourself? What resources out there have you found sort of in your journey here that could be, you know, you could direct them to? I think, you know, when it comes to like veterans, and one more thing I'll mention with our department, you know, that I'm just starting to take over to and be a part of, I should say take over, is the RVETS program with CAL FIRE. It's the returning veterans employed by CAL FIRE and helping veterans come in. And we're going to start like a little working group, hopefully, that veteran firefighters, specifically our department, can get together. And I see that with some other agencies, that they have these like veteran firefighter nights. But I would say big groups, like the guys from Overwatch, you know, they kind of brought me on board as well as one of like their buddy mentor. Oh, you're part of their network now.
Yeah.
So my understanding of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is like, you know, we were talking about the stigma of having to go to somebody at a 1-800 number, you know, or go to your battalion chief or to your captain or whatever and say, hey man, I'm having a tough time. And the fear of what'll happen in terms of you getting labeled and, or, you know, again, there these trust issues coming up or whatever else. And so what the Overwatch guys have done is they're creating a network of, hey, if you need somebody to talk to, we have a list of resources these are people that have been through similar. Here's their stories. You can find them all on our website.
Yeah. If you go on their website, you'll see my stuff on there. Yeah.
And so if you need somebody to talk to, maybe go through this way, and you might find somebody that has a similar story to you, and they're open. They're in the net. We will put you in touch with them.
100%.
And then hopefully find, at least you have somebody to talk to, and then, potentially direct them to the places or the place that they could go to get the kind of the help that they need. No so doubt. Now you're part of that network.
Yeah. So are any of us on there gonna save you? No, but we all know we've been through shit. We can tell you what to go, whether it's like veteran, law enforcement, military stuff, and civilians out there. I went to high school. Greg's significant other.
That's right. And you did tell me that.
Yeah. So we know each other. It's like that whole full circle thing going around, and that's like. Shoot me a message. I've had so many people just message me on it. Like, I'm in some big social media. I don't know how to run this shit. I post a picture because it looks cool. I figure it out. I'm not on there. That's not my full-time thing or whatever. And I gained 5 followers. I don't give a fuck. What I give a fuck about is like random people hitting me up on Instagram who are like, hey man, I'm trying to get hired with CAL FIRE. Like, I see you work for them. You posted pictures. Like, you also on there posted a story that we're hiring seasonals. So yeah, fuck yeah. I'll give my cell phone out to anybody. So I, tomorrow there's some guy who wants to call me. He's like, hey man, I'm going to the academy. Like, what do I need to do? How do I get hired by CAL FIRE? Here's my little history and my background. And if I could lead that and come full circle,
still give him back
100%, because that's the mentors that I had in the fire service. A guy who worked for San Ramon Valley who's retired, a guy from San Francisco City who's retired. I mean, those are the guys, my first captain who's now a division chief. He's like one of my best friends now. Those are the people that like mentored me, who are on their tail end of their career, that this job is all about giving back. And if you sit there and you're selfish, it's not going to work out. You got to get that back. You got to give those blessings back out to get them again. And I've definitely been blessed by so many different people in God that you got to give that back to other people. I mean, it's a fucking badass job. It just comes with a lot of baggage.
There's a lot of stuff there
that you just got to manage that. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's the best, some of the best relationships out there. I know and wives are happy, kids are happy, but just know, pops or mom could be gone for up to 10 million days during this summer.
It's a lot. We're here. It's a lot for a family to handle or a relationship to handle.
So that's what we'll have them come to the firehouse. We'll have dinners, all that COVID shit and whatever. But like, you come to the firehouse, we'll cook for you. Yeah,
it's got to be tough. You got your family away from your family, and somehow they have to be involved somehow. But it's interesting, too. I'm just kind of thinking back to your story and how you were kind of internalizing everything, projecting out and blaming. And at no point did I hear in your story that you actually asked for help. And had your buddy not called you that day,
who knows?
Who knows what would have happened?
Maybe I had the balls to do it or not. Maybe I was just chickened out right there. I'm like, fuck this. Or I've been like, no, I'm worth more. Well, which I am. Right. But
regardless, like, it's okay to ask for help is what you're saying.
It's so weird for me because I'm like, fuck, I've helped with other thing. Like, he can help with, this or what. But it was just so weird for me to be like, he offered it up, and then I was,
that's my point.
Friends. Yeah. He was one of the best men at his wedding, not too long after that. And I came back and like, him and his wife were one of my best friends. And it's like, excuse me, that, yeah, man, asking for help. It's okay to ask for help right now. Like, no one's going to fault you. I'm sure there's some personalities still out there, right? The second largest fire department, 10,000 or something like that. We're at with personnel, but, it's already starting from like ground rule day one that it's okay. Like, we have people to help. Like, you're not okay. It's not okay to see these things. It's not okay to pull up on a fire and fucking 200,000 acres. What?
It's normal to feel the way you're feeling.
Yeah. And get that help. Right. It's totally okay. You guys like Overwatch, the different veteran, Black Rifle Coffee, all these companies out there that are great and nonprofits that are using, there is help out there, but it's much easier to talk to somebody that And I think that's why it's big. I did one with this one podcast, Project Mayday, group, good folks. I did a part 1 and part 2. Part 1, I actually was leaving for that Colorado trip. And then part 2 I did after the Colorado trip. And I could see my facial expressions. I guess I'm fairly happy. It's weird. I don't really rewatch podcasts or whatever, but people said that like you look like a changed person, which I definitely was. But I talk about that and kind of giving back to people. And it's sometimes hard to be like, oh, veteran suicide number. Like no one still wants to call this fucking random number.
It's so
like,
impersonal, right?
It's weird, dude. It's a robot. Like even like, oh, cool, this veteran first responder mental health. Well, who's this? And I get that. Like you see, you're in the East Coast, and you're like, what's Overwatch? A bunch of California guys.
Right.
I may not reach out to them, and that's totally okay. But if there's 100 of these Overwatch collectives,
yes,
throughout the United States, and there's some Dallas guys, and I live in Dallas, I'm gonna call the Dallas guy. Like I hope to God there's a CAL FIRE guy listening right now, or an Air National Guard guy out of California, or a former cop, or even dropped stuff like, right, my heritage is Indian. How many fucking goddamn Indian firemen are there?
This did not come up earlier. Like
there's not.
I don't know any. I don't know.
No, man.
I know several firefighters, but I don't know.
I miss the boat of fucking owning a gas station, or fucking joke around, or working for the tech company and whatever. So I'm like, that was another stigma too that I kind of had to fucking still fucking deal with it. But and that's what we mentioned on that other podcast, and the same thing here. Like there's very few. They're starting, especially in law enforcement, and we become more and more diverse, melting pots, the Bay Area, right? Again, I don't give a fuck about race. I've never been like that type of guy, right? But it's hard, for some immigrant coming over, because there's a lot of pressure too, not on just parents, but so Indian parents got some pressure for sure to immediately go to college. I never did that, the associates thing or whatever, but like to go to college and get that job, and you see someone's unhappy. I was like, no, hell no. Like, no. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not working a 9 to 5. I can't do it.
Yep.
Like, I have no interest. And coming home at night, like it's probably fucking badass to see someone come to your gym and come out as someone's out of shape and in shape. That would be goddamn rewarding.
Yeah, it is. It's the biggest paycheck you'll ever get.
Absolutely. And that's like the thing with going in and being able to respond to that call where someone can't help themselves.
Right.
And, so others, they, may live. And that's the motto for a military unit, and it's pretty awesome to see guys who might, come from the Indian heritage, like, I'm trying to get into public safety. I'm gonna tell the same thing I'll tell somebody who's not with Indian heritage.
Right.
However,
there's some different connection. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you need to get preferential treatment or whatever, just being, come from India, but it's definitely different, I
don't think there's anything wrong with that, man. Like, I want to know if I'm that guy out there right now who's been thinking about it, but is also thinking, what are my chances of this shit? Because
there's a bunch of white people doing this job.
I just heard the white dude with the beard, on the show go, like, he doesn't know any Indian firefighters.
So that's the thing. I've had that before too. I even talked to women who are different ethnicity, Hispanic and stuff. Like, oh man, there's probably hella white people who work where you live. I'm like, look, it's a pretty rural part of America. I get that, right? Apple's headquarters is not in fucking. It's not in Redding, California. I'm gonna tell you that straight fact, right? Or some other place. But I'm like, I don't look at it like that. I don't give a fuck. Like, they don't give a fuck. And don't, like, just do your job. And if you're a goddamn good fireman, people are going to expect you.
By the way, as they say, everybody loves firemen.
Right.
Everybody loves the firefighter. Exactly. Who doesn't love the firefighter? Especially when they come in with the fucking stash like you're wearing. I mean, come on, dude.
This stash is getting me in trouble.
I mean, you come in with the stash like that, with the uniform on. Like, fuck, see, this dude's got to be a good guy.
No, I know. Well, that's like, I know, dude. I'm debating it. Some days I'm like, well, I'm going to shave it off.
I feel the same about my facial hair, too.
I know. Some days I'm like, and then it's the super trooper thing,
You take it, wear that one well, though, man. I think it's good for you.
Yeah. So as long as I could, as long as you guys hit me up, whatever, man, the phone number, or the emails on Overwatch. So definitely tag into their Instagram, go on my Instagram, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck if you follow me or not. I don't know about that. But the email is on the Overwatch Collective thing, and it may take a while to get back to you, being busy, but I'll get back to you.
So those are the other guys, and they have this. They're fully set up to do this, and they're continually growing and spreading the message. So that's at the Overwatch Collective. But where do they find you on Instagram, dude?
Yeah. So it's, what is it? @ Smokey_the Bear, and the Bear's BAER.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Smokey. Gotcha. Yeah, Smokey the Bear on there, and yeah, man, that's where I'm at. So it's like, for guys who want to be interested in, at least getting the Air Force thing or even some law enforcement knowledge, I got that. And if you guys are ever interested in, working for CAL FIRE, I think it's the best department out there. I mean, that's me, and I love it. And again, it's going to be another crazy year. I feel like shit's already burning.
Man, I mean, the timing on this is, kind of serendipitous. I mean, again, International Firefighter Day.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it just happened. I was like, oh, fuck.
We are walking right into the height of the fire season here in California for sure, at least here on the West Coast.
Right.
And, where you're from up north here. I appreciate you coming down.
dude,
this is a ton of fun
for sure.
This is a ton of fun. It's very enlightening, and we've always tried to support LEO and military veterans, first responders, the best we can to get the message out. I appreciate the message that you're bringing today, man.
Yeah, dude.
We need to get out and train sometime.
Oh, fuck yeah, let's shoot, dude.
Yeah, we need to go out and train
all
sometime.
All day.
I love it up there in Oregon, man. One of my favorite spots is Bend. Maybe I'll have to stop
Ben's gorgeous. I love it.
Stop through. And
I mean, that's what's awesome. Actually, I had one chief, he lived in Bend, commuted down.
Gorgeous up there.
So it's awesome.
I think everybody's trying to move there from here, but
I know.
Regardless.
I know. We'll see where I end up. So
thanks for coming through, man.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Let's go smoke some cigars.
Let's do it.
Drink some bourbon or something.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
Thanks, dude.
All right, man.